In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how an optimized website should look like in the backend in 2018. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've seen way too many badly done websites that are very pretty on the front, but once you open the backend, it's a disaster, not optimized for successful marketing at all. And I'm not just speaking from the experience of being a marketing leader and owning digital marketing programs in my organization. I actually build websites. I'm actually technical enough to build one from scratch, so I'm speaking from experience. This is going to be a longer video, but if you stick around long enough, you're going to potentially save your organization thousands and thousands of dollars, especially if you're going through a website redesign right now, and especially if you are doing it with an agency or another third party. You may be thinking, oh well, how bad can it be? I mean, the agencies know what they are doing, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business. You are partially right. First of all, a lot of agencies and web designers, they are in business of building a website and handing it off to you. They are not in business of SEO optimization, of any other type of optimization for successful marketing. Secondly, a lot of web developers who work for said agencies are not trained to build optimized website beyond code. And as far as how bad it can be, well, here is a real-life example. I actually worked on a project, a website that was recently redesigned by a third-party agency, and the problem was that they did not create any redirects on the back end. So the customer literally ended up losing all of lead generation from search engines. And what's worse, it's really, really difficult to correct someone else's mistakes. So I ended up rebuilding the entire website. Not only did they lose thousands of dollars in agency fees, they also lost potentially tens of thousands of dollars in business revenue that was not generated while the website wasn't functioning properly. For the purpose of this video, I'm using my personal WordPress installation, but I will repeat myself and say that it's not important whether your site runs on WordPress or some other content management system, or you're using other pieces of technology. Basically, this video will cover top things you should be looking for when you are redesigning or building a new website in order to generate the most revenue out of it. Number one is URL structure. It's amazing how many times these important questions get overlooked. In case of WordPress, URL structure can be changed on site level, and if your agency or your web developer do that and then don't redirect your old URL structure to the new URL structure, you will end up with a lot of lost traffic and a lot of potentially lost leads, as in the example I gave in the beginning of this video. And even if you don't change URL structure, but maybe you are redesigning a website and you have some legacy content, or you removed some legacy content and added some new one, you do not want to lose that traffic. And in that case, it's also a great idea to create redirects that actually have to be permanent, or otherwise known in web development world as 301 redirects. WordPress has a lot of ways to handle these. There are a lot of plugins. Specifically, I am using redirection plugin. But if you are using used SEO, paid version actually has a way of handling redirects and creating new redirects automatically for you, so you do not have to do it manually. But even if you're not running on WordPress, basically you can handle redirects on server level with something called htaccess file. So you should actually ask your web developer about changes in URL structure and whether or not you need permanent redirects. Number two is meta titles and meta descriptions and a user-friendly way to update them. Why is it important? Well, it's very important for SEO. It's great to have a title and some copy on your page or in your post. But at the end of the day, search engines require unique meta titles and meta tags. And requirements to this change as it happened recently. Google increased the character limit for meta descriptions, and I did another video on that the other day, so I recommend that you watch it if you are not aware of it yet. But basically, having a way to manage your meta description and meta title in-house without knowing code will ensure that you are always up to date. You own your on-page optimization, and you don't have to pay an agency or a web developer every time you need to make a change. Additionally, in case of Yoast SEO, the plugin that I'm using for this installation, there is a way to customize your social media previews, Twitter cards, Facebook preview, LinkedIn preview, you name it. And that is great because sometimes you may want to have a different image popping up in social media preview than the one you use in the post. In other words, you can have increased traffic and lead generation from social media with custom previews. Number 3, image optimization. That's actually a part of a bigger question of website speed, but it's really important that you can optimize, losslessly compress your images. You probably don't even realize how many images you have on the website. In case of WordPress, every image gets several versions generated, starting from the thumbnail to every other size, image size WordPress automatically provides. You can see that in my installation, which is actually a pretty new website, I already have over 2,000 images. And I'm using WP Smoosh, which is one of the highest rated WordPress plugins. It's a free version, but they also have a paid version, which provides higher level of lossless compression. And what's great is that you can either bulk smoosh images and take care of everything you have on the website historically, or you can use their automatic compressions setting, which will ensure that every time you upload a new image, it's automatically optimized. Number 4 is actually the bigger question of website speed. Website speed depends on many different aspects, starting from your hosting provider to the technology you are using to your content setup and a lot of other different things. But it's important. It's important for SEO, it's important for user experience, it's important for business generation at the end of the day. In case of WordPress, I like using WP Rocket. It's a plugin that is actually paid, but it takes care of a lot of different things, such as your cache, your browser cache, zip compression, a lot of different helpful things, such as optimizing your JavaScript files and CSS files. So it's not the only plugin out there, but it's one of those that provide a lot of value for the cost. If you are not using WordPress, I do recommend that you request that your agency or web developer provide some options for website speed optimization, including browser compression and some other things that can be handled on server level. Number 5, which really has to be number 1, is website security. Today, it's one of the biggest topics, and it's amazing to me how many companies, in case of WordPress, do not even have the most recent version of their plugins or WordPress install, and it all adds up to the questions of security. I do recommend that you ask your agency or your web developer about website security. While the previous 5 points were, I believe, absolute must-haves. The next couple of things I will point out are going to be optional, but they are so easy to implement, and it can be actually free, that it would make a lot of sense to ask your agency or your web developer about taking care of those while they are building your website. One of them is AMPs, otherwise known as accelerated mobile pages. These may be very important for your mobile traffic because they load very quickly on mobile devices, and it's a special format that is developed by Google to enhance mobile experience. This plugin is free. If you're not using WordPress, there is a lot of information provided by Google about developing AMP pages. Number 7 is rich snippets and rich cards. 2018 is the year of markup. It's important for SEO, and it will only be more important over time. We see a lot more formats, options coming out for rich markup. So I do recommend that when you design a new website or you redesign an old website, you actually ask your agency or your web developer about rich snippets and structured data. The next one is pretty obvious, but it's amazing to me how many times during a redesign project, companies forget to insert their Google Analytics code or other tracking codes. And even if you are not using certain marketing tactics like Facebook ads yet, I highly recommend that you generate your Facebook pixel and you insert it into your website's footer to start accumulating data. Now, in this WordPress install, you see that I have HubSpot tracking code, I have LinkedIn Insight tag, I have Facebook Pixel, and Google Analytics code. What if you are not using LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads? Why is that important? Well, it's important because even if you are not ready for paid marketing yet, you are collecting information. And when you are ready for your first Facebook campaign, for example, you already will have some information sitting on the pixel about your website visitors, your leads, and you will be able to utilize very effective tactics such as lookalike audiences, for example. I hope you found these tips useful. The bottom line is that a poorly designed website on the back end, when it may be really pretty on the front, may cost you a lot of money wasted not only in the agency fees. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, these are just core things you should be looking for in any website redesign or build project. A lot of you will need to ask a lot more questions to your agency or your web developers based on your unique business needs and on your unique marketing tactics online. But if now you're thinking that you may not be ready to ask the right questions to your agency or web developers, drop me a line. I will be glad to look into your unique situation and share more experience.